Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world.
The world first encountered the era of ghost operations at the dawn of the 21st century. It began in the depths of Pakistan, where a midnight raid brought the reign of Osama bin Laden to an end. Next, it was the turn of Baghdad's fallen leader. Saddam Hussein was discovered hiding in a hole beneath the lands he once ruled, eventually walking to the gallows before the eyes of his own people. In those days, many believed such scenes were a thing of the past. However, on the morning of January 3rd, 2026, at exactly 2:01 a.m., history repeated itself. The man sitting atop the world's largest proven oil reserves, Nicolas Maduro, was now in the custody of the American military, just like bin Laden and Saddam before him. The foundation for the operation was laid months ago on December 15, 2025. Washington legally reclassified fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction, WMD. This maneuver transformed Maduro from a head of state into a narco-terrorist. A declaration of war was no longer required to cross borders. This had become a criminal apprehension mission. The military framework was developed under Operation Southern Spear, which began in September 2025. For months, flying under the guise of counter-narcotics missions, American Growler aircraft silently mapped and analyzed Venezuela's S-300 radar networks. At 2:01 a.m. on January 3rd, no missiles were fired. Instead, electronic warfare systems were engaged. The radars were active, but they saw nothing. The entire air defense architecture evaporated digitally in less than 10 minutes. As Night Stalker's helicopters glided into Caracas beneath the radar, the steel doors guarding Maduro were opened from the inside. The $50 million bounty had turned palace guards into informants. Maduro was extracted from his bedroom, where he managed the world's largest oil reserves, without a single shot being fired. When the operation concluded, the Venezuelan military was still staring at the static on their radar screens. By sunrise, Maduro was no longer a president. He was a prisoner held aboard the USS Iwo Jima. The military phase may have ended in the skies of Caracas, but the real war began in the courtrooms. Taken from his home at 2:01 a.m. on January 3rd, Maduro stood before a judge in an American court just hours later. The man who once ruled the world's largest oil reserves was now in an orange jumpsuit, defending himself with the words, "I am still the president of my country." The legal framework prepared by Washington on December 15th, the classification of fentanyl as a WMD, became the primary element that stripped Maduro of his immunity. This was no longer a political trial. It was a narco-terrorism case. The silent raid, brought by military technology, was replaced by the cold reality of the courtroom. Just as Venezuela's S-300s were blinded that night, Maduro's political immunity was dismantled by the same digital and legal precision. Today, the world witnesses a leader taken from his bed to be tried on another continent. This has gone down in history as the 21st century's greatest liquidation of sovereignty. But what about everything that came before? If the issue were ending oppression, Trump's first target would undoubtedly be Netanyahu. If it were about drug trafficking, he wouldn't have pardoned former Honduras President Orlando, who was sentenced to 45 years just last month. If it were about democracy, he wouldn't support autocrats across the globe. So, what is the real issue? As the old saying goes, the only thing more dangerous than a shark that smells blood is American imperialism that smells oil.